That's right, folks. It's another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And today is the greatest day of the week. And that's right, because it's the Sunday live Start Sit show. It's 2 straight hours of Start Sit questions, breaking down weather updates, injury updates, everything you need to win your fantasy league and set your lineups. So jump on right now on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel as we break down all your Start Sits starting right now. And leading the ship, leading the charge. Sunday Live, the chairman, the host, main man,
Wow.
Guasco. You can follow him at Sky Guasco. What's going on, Sky?
Wow, the chairman. I like that.
I know.
It's like
in this moment, by the way. I was like, I'm going to call him the chairman. Let's do it.
The chairman is kind of like a wrestling character. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
if we get back into WWF again next year, we'll have to not a sponsor, by the way. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Stoked. We're going to be bringing in our other two here in 1 second, but make sure you hit that bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you leave a comment of your starts of the week, and we are going to be running in all of our start sits as we do every single week. While we do that, Bob, let's bring in the other two fine folks here on the program. We got Matty Styles, of course, his start sit article is off the chains once again. You can find him on Twitter at Styles08. And Derek Favret, Derek_Favret as well. Gentlemen, it's great to have everybody back once again. Let's get into the quad box here. We got a lot of questions in already. We only have 2 hours here before kickoff. We got another big week. We have 6 teams on bye, so we want to make sure that they are ready to go here, and we are getting all those questions in. So again, if we could, quick reminder to everybody that once you send in your questions, make sure that you please are leaving your season settings in your league. So if you're PPR, half PPR, what have you, please let us know. It is much appreciated. So that gives us an idea as well. All righty. Maddie, any quick comments before we get going here? Good morning.
No. Good to see Pat Daddy Patricio, first one logged in today. So tip of the cap to him, and over to anybody else that's feeling ready to get this shit going. Let's move out. No overseas games, right?
Correct.
We're only paying taxes on stateside games this week, Bob.
Correct.
Honestly, at this point, I kind of was like at 6:50, like 6:45. I was like, I got like a little bit of a panic. I'm like, oh shit, did I forget there was a game at 6:30? And then I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, we're good, we're back. All right, back to normal. We're all good here.
Well, it's been about 5 weeks in a row, which is nice. But for us West Coasters, it was great to sleep in all the way till about 7:30 a.m. this morning. Derek, how you feeling this morning?
Doing great. Ready to get this going. Big week this week.
All right. Well,
bunch of teams on bye, so there's going to be some tough questions, I think, coming our way.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. And that's a great call. Once again, for everybody, make sure you find us all on Twitter, and you can find everything at Razzball Fantasy NFL on Twitter. And of course, you can download our podcast as well during the week. We're dropping numerous episodes throughout the week, all of our articles for free on football.razzball.com. Matt, can we get a quick check on the amount of comments that have come in this week so far from your article?
I usually like to brag about that, don't I?
You do.
Humble brags, of course. Let me see. It wasn't as big this week. That's what she said. 40. Nice round number, 40.
Love it. Well, I think it might, that might be part of it because there's so many teams on bye. Like, people are stuck, but it's just like, you got to do what you got to do. Also, quick reminder before everyone panics on, they're like, oh my God, I'm starting 5 guys this week I don't ever want to start because of the bye weeks. So is your opponent, most likely. So plug your roster, stay confident. Let's get rocking. Pat Daddy up first. Let's get into it. Got a few decisions this morning. Full PPR. Lot of Ramondre Stevenson questions. He was my start of the week last week. RB6, which worked out. He was also a trade 4 candidate this week, and we went for it. Ramondre Stevenson, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is trending in. Let's get to the first one, boys. Maddie, we'll start with you.
If I get any news that says Christian McCaffrey is trending in, I'm playing him over Ramondre. If I have to have the points and I can't wait till I find out about McCaffrey, then I'm going to get Ramondre in. And let me look real quick. I think Ramondre is the early game. Is that right? He is. He's the noon game.
I will double check.
Yes. Bills at Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, so Yeah, so you're going to have to make that decision early. If you feel like you want the safe play, it's Ramondre, who's going to get the lion's share of the touches, in my opinion. But if you, again, your home run swing is CMC. So you drafted him for a reason. You know that he can play injured. He often does, but I don't know that they need to push any limits with McCaffrey this week. So we shall see. And we know they've got a couple of running backs that can fill in. So I'm probably playing Ramondre unless I get a really good feel that McCaffrey is playing and starting. So long story short for me, actually short story long for me. So Derek.
I tend to agree with what you said. The 49ers, they let us know with Debo and some of their other players who are going to be out. They let us know right away. I hope that's not for me, Bobby.
No, it's for Matt.
So, yeah, I mean, they let us know those guys are out right away. So to me, it means McCaffrey is truly a game time decision. And that, that's a coin flip that can go either way with such a critical position at running back. And it's a pretty good matchup there actually for Ramondre. So I unless you're 5-1, 6-0, or you're really comfortable in your league, or you're playing a really weak opponent, and you want to take the gamble. But if none of those things are in line, then you got to go Ramondre and just take the sure thing, and hope he gives you 75% of a really good CMC day.
I'm going CMC. Everything I've heard sounds like he's trending in the right direction. Debo is definitely out, which means he's probably going to get a few more touches, even if he's 75%. They don't really have a luxury of just not giving CMC touches. So I'm still going to go CMC.
Correct.
Rest of the season, Curtis or Debo? Rest of season, Curtis or Debo? Pick a Samuel.
Curtis Samuel or Debo Samuel? Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
Debo.
Derek's going to be like Congress and say present.
Yes,
Nice.
I'll say present. Yeah, I don't.
Deal.
I mean, if we knew the extent of Debo's injury, I mean, he would be the pick, but I don't know. Frankly, I don't really care for either one of them at this point.
I'll tell you this: Debo's out the next 2 weeks minimum before the bye, but I think that's mainly just because he's out this week for sure. He's out next week because they can rest him, and like our fantasy teams, they have a nice lead in the NFC. So if they happen to cough up one or two of these, it's probably not season ending. They want to make sure their studs are healthy. So Trent Williams is also trending doubtful, if not out already in this game as well. So I'm firing up CMC. I think he's ready to go. But in a PPR league, if you're concerned about it, I'm okay with Ramondre. Let's get into Pat Daddy number 2 here.
Oh,
2 wide receivers. Oh,
just
go ahead.
1 second. 33 seconds ago, Adam Schefter just reported all signs point to 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey playing Monday night at Minnesota.
And we have, I think, 4 people that say play McCaffrey.
Boom. So we're gonna go quad box and the official drop there. Thanks, Bob. All right, here we go. Pat Daddy 2 here. We got 2 wide receivers: Devonta Smith, Lockett, Puka, and London. This is super difficult to decide. And then we want to find a flex, so CMC or Ramondre are one of the receivers. So do we want to flop out any of those guys? We need 2 wide receivers, and we already picked Christian McCaffrey. Matt?
Yeah, I love Puka, and I'm going to stay on that Puka train, especially with Kyron Williams out for the Rams for the next 4 weeks. So they're going to go to pass pro and throw the ball as much as they can. I see Stafford throwing 40 to 45, maybe back into the Stafford 50 throws a game. So give me Puka, give me Devonta Smith for a bounce back. I think he's in for a huge week. So those are the 2 wide receivers I'm using. We've already decided he's going to start CMC. I like Ramondre in the flex over London slightly. And I sit Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, that's fair. I have Puka as well for sure. I actually like Lockett a little better than the other 2. I hope you're right, Matt, with Devonta Smith. I need him in one of my leagues to come up big. So I hope you're right there. But I actually like Lockett a little better as my wide receiver 2, just above London and Smith.
And the flex?
It's the flex CMC or Ramondre. It's CMC.
No, he's already starting Ramondre. or excuse me, he's already going to start CMC based on our advice. So you can either start one of those receivers or Ramondre at the flex.
Yeah. Do we know that this is a PPR? Yeah, we do.
It is.
Full PPR. Yep. Yeah. I would. Yeah, I would go with one of the running backs too in the flex. Yeah.
Oh. Question. Yeah, I'm actually going to go Puka and Lockett. DK Metcalf is questionable, game time decision with this injury. So even if he plays, he might be limited. So I'm going Lockett in that against that Arizona defense. And then for a flex, I'm actually going to go with Smith over Ramondre Stevenson this week. So I'll go Smith, Puka, and Smith.
Puka, Lockett, CMC. I've actually got Lockett ranked highest among the three this week. He's at number 12. Devonta Smith's at number 13, and I've got DK all the way back at 21. Generally, over the last couple of seasons, when the Cardinals and Seahawks play each other, if DK gets slowed down, then Tyler Lockett has ripped them up multiple times. I'll note back to 2 years ago when he went 203, and he came back for another 150-2 in a game there. So Tyler Lockett is a surefire this week. All right, Pat Daddy 3 here. Another tough decision between Sam Laporta and Dallas Goedert on another team, Matt.
There's no decision. There's no decision. We don't even need to talk. I'll just turn it over to Derek.
Well, unfortunately, there is a decision, and as much as it pains me to say it, I think I'm leaning Goddard here a little bit. The matchup, Laporta's got a calf injury. I mean, he's good to go, no question, but he's definitely not 100%. Goddard and the Eagles versus that Dolphins, that could be a track shootout there. So I got to lean Goddard here as much as it pains me. I don't think you can make a wrong decision. I guess I'll lead with that. But if I'm picking one of the two, I'm going to have to lean Goddard.
And I have an unhealthy relationship with Sam Laporta. I'm almost stalkerish in the fact that I'm not dating him on any of my teams. So I'm just watching him through the window as a creeper. And so I really want him to be the guy. I'd actually like him to not be the guy for a week or two and have somebody trade him to me. And we'll ride him to the championship, but that's not going to happen.
I'll get off on a little tangent, but Laporta is drafted above Mark Andrews next spring or next fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
But anyway, that doesn't help. That doesn't help Patricio today, but
yeah, it's got it for me, and I would say Patricio, I would be shopping one of these guys and go get, trade your wide receiver 3 in Laporta to get an upgrade. Trade your running back 3 in Laporta to get an upgrade. So even if I am blurry, my wisdom is clear. Try to get an upgrade with one of these guys. All right, but I'm going Goddard this week. This matchup.
I love it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with the Sammy Ball game. I like Dallas Goedert a lot, but and this will be a shootout here. But I just don't love the consistency, and I know it's the tough matchup. Baltimore Ravens second fewest fantasy points to tight ends this year, but Sam Laporta is I think just another breed already at tight end position with the volume, but also the consistency. And the Ravens haven't played very many great tight ends, so I think that changes this week. And I'm going to go with Sam Laporta. I got one more, and then we're going to have a quick break in the action here. We got Krana Shaw. We appreciate you jumping in here. Need the help. That's what we're here for. Debo is out, and my options are be prepared to say, wait. Anybody get that? Make them say, nah. Shouts out to our boy, Master P. Big fan of the show. All right, we got Aljair, Musgrave, Dotson, DJ Dallas, Ray McLeod, probably for my Niners, Mitchell Freeman, and we got a lot here. So let's find out one more. So I think we just need to find one because Debo's out in the flex. Don't know if this is PPR. Is anyone else seeing a different side there?
No.
Okay. So let's just go with it. We're going half PPR here. We're looking for a flex position. Matt, we'll go with you first.
I'm not spending a lot of time on this. For me, it's Musgrave. Nerd analysis, right, says that he's got the best matchup of the week. Behind him, I probably have Algier because Arthur Smith just continues to give him the ball over Bijan, but I don't love that. And then I like Rondale as the the swing for the fences type guy because they're trying everything they can to get him involved in the offense. But he'd be a distant third, and way out in front for me is Musgrave.
So first of all,
Nice. Way to follow directions.
That's right. No, well, for me, geez, I'm saying it again. Rondale is the name that sticks out to me out of this group. If this is the group you're picking between, you're not going in expecting a lot of points. Is my guess. The rest of your roster is probably pretty good. So you're taking whatever you can get out of this group if this is the case. And kind of like Matt said, Rondale, he's kind of a swing for the fences, and I do like his matchup there too. So out of this group, I'm going with Rondale and crossing my fingers.
Yeah, Seattle allows the most fantasy points to the slot. You got to take the shot. If you're going to go this deep, take the matchup, Rondale Moore, and I like that game to be a little fun for fantasy, so I'm going Rondale.
Boy, I'm going to go Musgrave here, and again, I'm going to go matchup as well, but I think he's going to have quite of a. I hope for Matt and I hope for Packers fans that we get a fun, just a boat race game. We need one of those for Jordan Love. We need one of those for the Packers, and the Broncos may keep up on their side on offense, but they are just horrible on defense across the board. So I'm excited for all the options in Green Bay, and that involves Musgrave.
You want to know how there's a script in the NFL? We've talked about that, right? We know that things are on the up and up. Explain to me how the only guy on defense for Denver, Patrick Surtain, that has played well, right? We know that. He's the only guy. If Aaron Jones is trending towards playing, Musgrave's healthy, Christian Watson's healthy, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love coming off a bye, all of that, A.J. Dillon. How come the Packers are only favored by 1?
Hey, your guess is as good as mine, man. Did anybody watch the Huskies game last night?
Yep, they should have lost that game too.
Talk about a script. All right, don't get me fired up this early, Matt. I need to stay focused here. Speaking of, I'm going to give you guys a 2-minute water break here. We're going to break in the action. We want to give a quick shout out to our really great friends at Good Sports. Good Sports is a company that we've teamed up with. We're very, very excited about this. 10% of all the donations that come into the Razzball team, right? Through donations, through super chats, through any type of contribution to our channels, 10% of that goes to Good Sports. I'm personally very passionate about this. I've worked with youth sports for 15 plus years of my life. I used to run a youth sports organization through my local YMCA, youth soccer, football, volleyball, basketball, baseball, creating teams, finding volunteer coaches, what have you. Over 50 countries, 9 million children have benefited from this, right? 6,100 youth organizations across the country have benefited as well. So this is helping the underprivileged youth of the U.S. So if any contributions can come in toward the Razzball, then 10% of those contributions will go to our good friends at Good Sports. Make sure you find more information on their website, and please make sure to get a contribution if you can. Let's get it back to the action here. All right, so banners back up on it. Sorry, boys, doing double dipsies here on my janky setup these days. Jeez, horribly unprofessional, I know. Gerald, Jordan Love or Deshaun Watson? Matt, we'll start with you. If
Jordan
Deshaun
Love.
Watson plays, it's trending that way, but maybe questionable
I think it's
still.
going to be PJ Walker, and I think it's going to be a lot of Jerome Ford. I'll take Jordan Love.
Yeah, whether he plays or not doesn't change my opinion. Jordan Love for me as well.
I'm going Watson.
Ooh. Yeah, tell us why, Bobby.
No, I don't even. Can you mute him for a minute? And Sky, you give yours. Nobody wants to hear that. This is trash.
No, I don't have to say anything. No, my point is
you don't have to, but I'm asking for it.
So when I put everything together, I've been trying to work out some type of projection system because I don't have one, and so I did something for quarterbacks this week, and Watson really had a very tough early season passing game schedule. And this is the first time this season he's going to be facing a matchup that's a plus matchup for him. So that coupled with being in the dome, plus with the younger secondary for the Colts, I do think he's going to be able to move the football. Plus, we just recently saw the Broncos have changed their defense. The Broncos now use a lot more zone. The Patrick Surtain thing was not working for them. They did have a stud corner, but they were playing a lot of man, and they were getting roasted by their other corners. They were dealing with some injuries at safety, and we've seen over the last few weeks, for example, against Patrick Mahomes, they've actually been able to hold up a little bit. So I think there's something there. And so I'm going to go with Watson over Love. But Love is also one of my favorite QB streamers this week. Actually, these guys are my top two streamers this week. So this is a great question. I'm good with either, but I lean Watson.
Top 2 streamers. I like that. That's a good call there. Just looking at the matchups, I know the Colts have been terrible against wide receivers. Let's see.
I should throw in Geno as well, if Geno's still considered a streamer, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. They are the Colts have been giving up the 8th most fantasy points to quarterbacks as well, and the Denver Broncos have given up the 2nd most fantasy points to quarterbacks. So either way, it's a plus matchup. I'm going to stick with Jordan Love here. I trust the weapons more. I trust the offense in general. They have, obviously, weekly camaraderie and continuity right now. If Watson comes out, has a nice game for us, I'm throwing him back in next week. This week right now, though, I'm just going to trust what I've seen. I don't think it's going to be amazing, but Jordan Love did start off on fire this season, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there and go with Jordan Love. Pat Daddy has an easy. I mean, this is obvious. So whoever wants to reach out to us from the WWE as far as a fantasy squad getting connected for the team, let us know. We'd be more than happy to get together and make that happen for you all. Lindorphins, good morning. Everybody's favorite, a DST question. I'm usually the DST guy, so I can double up here if you want, but we'll pass it around real quick. I've been rolling with Philly, but I'm worried about Miami's offense, rightfully so. Would you drop Philadelphia for Green Bay at Denver, or would you rather just bench a player like Logan Thomas and hold on? Bench a player like Logan Thomas. Well, if you could bench him, definitely.
Drop.
You might mean, you might mean drop. Okay. You drop a Logan Thomas.
No, he says drop a bench player, not.
Drop a bench player like Logan Thomas. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. So, assuming you can do that easily and not flub the squad too much. Again, though, I think I would just roll with Green Bay as my DST. I'm checking my rankings right now. Philadelphia is all the way down at 16 for me. Green Bay is at number 9. So based on my rankings, I'm going to go with Green Bay. Does anybody disagree?
Is Green Bay our streamer? Like, is Green Bay one of your guys' favorite streamers this week? Like,
yes, I also will go with the Raiders. Just because I don't think they're highly managed. I like the Commanders, who are up and down because they have great games on defense and they blow it, but they're playing the Giants, who shockingly aren't great.
Cool.
And
obviously, we can move on. Let's go.
Bob said next.
No, I'm good. You had me. I'll just no, it's fine, man. No, it's cool. I didn't say a word about the San Francisco debacle last week because I was trying to be bigger.
That's
and
true.
Say, hey, I'm always supporting this guy, and I said I started Brock Purdy, and he killed me last week, and I didn't turn around and flip out on you and say, hey, man, you know who sucks? Brock Purdy. No, I said realize it was just a bad week, and I'm hoping that Tyrod Taylor this week just lights it up against those Commanders. So yeah. That's fine. I agree. The Commanders are a good streamer, though.
that's absolutely fair. But let's just break down the facts. First of all, the Commanders are a good streamer, so I'm trying to help the people. Secondly, we know that Brock Purdy doesn't suck. We also know that he lost his 3 top options, and that the Niners will probably win out moving forward. Okay, so I think we're going to go unanimous here, and we will go with the Green Bay Football Packers on DST. Best of luck. Another defensive question. Love this. Vikings, Hawks, Ravens, Colts, Bears. All right, so I'll break this down. Matt, I'm going to go with you here just to pick one, and I'll rally up my rankings by the end.
Well, the Bears are not in the discussion. The Vikings are not in the discussion. So it comes down to the Hawks, Ravens, or Colts. I prefer the Ravens and probably have the Seahawks close second against Arizona. But don't sleep on that Arizona offense. They've put up some points. Josh Dobbs has been able to run, scramble, keep plays alive. So I'm going to go Ravens as the best defense of the list, with the Seahawks being second.
Yeah, I like the Colts and the Seahawks of this list. I'm probably leaning Seahawks a little bit. We talked just a little bit ago about the young Colts secondary, and they could be vulnerable. I mean, it is the Browns. If Deshaun Watson plays, hooking up with Cooper, I mean, that's makes me a little nervous for the Colts defense. But of this list, those are the two that I'm focusing on. One of those two.
Bob, what team of this list can you not run the football on?
The Seahawks.
There you go.
Yeah, it just forces more opportunities for turnovers. I like the Seahawks too of this list. The Ravens actually are getting healthier, and is Road Goff finally come out? It was like he's been super good, and so I do think that there is a small chance that Goff kind of turns back into a pumpkin, or whatever the saying is this week. But I think the safer play and the better play is Seattle versus Arizona.
Yeah, and what is Jahmyr Gibbs going to give you after 2 weeks of not being on an NFL field? No
volume, explosive volume.
Well, that's what you would hope, because it's not going to be Craig Reynolds. It appears we know Monty's out. The other running back that they have starts with a vowel, so I'm usually out on that. I was gonna say explosive volume sounded like my Sunday morning last weekend. So
hey-o.
The first official shit joke. There it is.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
First you flip me off, and now you turn my quotable pun into something different, to a metaphor.
That middle finger was for Matt. Okay, do not take that from him, young man. All right, that was for him. Okay.
Yeah. We know that. I was just trying to protect him.
I know. That's good.
Seattle Seahawks easily for me. They're my number 4 DST this week, playing Arizona. Going to stop the run. Yeah, they don't have a run game anyway in Arizona, but then it's going to be all pass late, and I think there's going to be turnovers there. So I like the Seattle Seahawks as my DST. Okay, let's move on here to wide receiver 3 in PPR. I'm going to step away for 1 second. I will BRB, but I'll leave you with DK, Pickens, and DJ Moore.
My favorite receiver on this list is George Pickens, but not this week. I'm not playing Pickens this week. DK is dinged, so a wide receiver 3 PPR, give me DJ Moore for the Bears. I don't love it, but that's the guy I'm probably going with.
Wait, can we pause for a minute? So you don't have any issues with this back? I mean, for what it's worth, I was literally at like 10 o'clock last night. I couldn't think about DJ. I texted you guys. I'm like, I don't know what to do with him this week. But so I actually looked at the game and watched the tape from the Bears game last week. And I'm like watching him play, and the kid looked kind of good. I think his overall game was kind of overshadowed by that terrible pick at the end. But if you watch that game, Moore had 0 catches until he came into the game, and then he had 5 catches for 50 yards with like 8 minutes left in the third. So I actually started being like, nah, okay. Plus, the Raiders are down 2 starters in the secondary this week, which is key. But I was just curious, like, is everybody good with the backup? Did you guys see anything personally? But
I would be higher on him if his father was playing fullback to protect him.
Okay.
You see his father, the champion arm wrestler. I think I would be a little more higher on him if his dad was in there to guard his 6. But no, for me, it's Pickens. I got to go with Pickens here again. We just don't know what we're going to get. He might be this year's Brock Purdy. Who knows? That would be something. But of course, DK is injured, so we're not sure what we're going to get out of him. I like Pickens here.
So I will say this. I think I am willing to pass on Moore, and I'm going to see what happens with Metcalf, because I feel like Metcalf, if he's in and goes to pregame warmups, that matchup is so good that I want to play Metcalf.
Yep.
But if he's ruled out, you have a pivot, because both those guys, Pickens and Metcalf, play at the 4 o'clock window. So I'll pivot to Pickens easily, which I'm fine with. So I think I'm going to actually lean DK. And if he, for whatever reason, a report comes out that he's not going to play he's a limited snap count, or his walkthrough didn't go great, but he's going to be active and they're not sure about his role, then you just pivot to Pickens. But if you hear that he's active, he's ready to go, I'm going Metcalf. That matchup's too good. And I think he's going to be close to a wide receiver 1 this week. So I'm going to go Metcalf there.
I can agree with that. I didn't look at the timing of the games, but yeah, I'm okay with not trusting Bajent and going with the DK if he plays and Pickens as the well, I guess you call him the emergency fill-in. But again, I don't love Pickens' matchup. I don't think it's great, but he is Pickett's favorite guy. Deontay, I'll take a little pressure off him. Freiermuth is out. Najee's terrible. So yeah, I can live with that. I changed my answer.
Oh, there it is.
Just in the nick of time.
Speaking of which, one of our followers, Bob, you could get the FCC maybe, or not the FCC. Who is it? The
FCC won't let me be me. So let me.
Yeah, Lindorfin's caught the bird flip, so it's now out there in the ether. So Derek, I apologize for what you had to deal with this morning, and you and I, if you need a mediator, I'll take you to HR.
That's right. Yeah, we'll visit Razzball HR tomorrow. That's all right.
Jeez, tough crowd, Bob. You got this isn't the midweek show. All right, this is the Sunday live show. You got to be a little more careful and on your spot there. So.
And by the way, join the Quad Box. But we started a Tuesday show with the Quad Box. Every Tuesday, we do our weekly takeaways, recaps, and also impact for waiver wire and trade talks. All of us together, hour of just nonsense, recapping the games every Tuesday at 6 o'clock PST. Join us.
Totes. Let's move on here. Fermented Minds. This can go so many directions, and I'm really excited about this handle. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, gents. This might be a first time, long time. I'm not sure that I've seen this name personally come through. Maybe it's a reader coming in for the first time, but either way, we appreciate it. Fermented Minds needs Dobbs, Ritter, Hoyer, Tyrod Taylor. Let me guess. You have a couple bye weeks this week. Dobbs, Ritter, Hoyer, Tyrod. Matt?
Fermented Minds, I may have met him at a Pearl Jam concert, but most likely he's been hanging around Fish or the Dead, one of the two. Yeah. That's my guess. Right? He's probably a big Bill Walton fan.
Maybe Primus, Tool, something like that.
Yeah, he could be Primus. Even the guys with the masks, their name is escaping me. The metal guys. Slipknot, yeah, of course.
Yeah, big fan.
But I think Fermented Minds is more of the laid back, right? The Grateful Dead, the Jerry Garcia, the kind of chill music. And, people, we're just going to love, man. We're just going to love.
Do you have a quarterback by chance?
Yeah, what was it?
I think we found a fermented mind.
I thought Jordan Love was in their answer. So when you said Love, I was like, is Love an option? And then I was like, wait, what?
All right, I digress. Fermented digression. I will say that my pick is not going to be popular amongst the picks, but I trust this guy, and it's a wide receiver complaints game. Brian Hoyer, I think, can be trusted as a veteran presence for the Raiders, and Devontae made it clear he's not getting the ball enough. So the last time he did this, a quick quiz: how many targets did Devontae get a couple of weeks ago after he said, "I need the ball more"?
Oh, was it like 19 or something stupid? But I'll go 12. 20. Oh, my bad. Way off.
20 targets. So I'm going to go with Hoyer. I don't love any of the names. Ritter is one of those hot, cold. He's just really kind of a mess. Maybe he'll be better as he gets some age and experience. But again, Arthur Smith's offense is not allowing him to really be that guy. It's getting better, but it's not great. So I'm going to go with Hoyer. I'm okay with that. In fact, I built a DFS lineup with Hoyer, Jacoby, and Devontae and the Raiders D. So I think they're gonna walk. And mind you,
smokes.
Sky, guess who is not in that
lineup? Jimmy Garoppolo, probably.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you want to play the players that are good.
Right, he's terrible.
For me, I might actually surprise some people. For me, it's going to be Dobbs. This might be his final game before Kyler Murray comes back. Maybe not, but it might be. And wasn't a few minutes ago we were talking defenses, and Matt, you asked the question, which one of these teams can you not run against?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the Seahawks. So he's got a really good matchup. again, this might be his last shot. He's gonna go. I think he's gonna go down swinging. So or slinging if you want to do it that way. So I think there's a lot of potential playing Dobbs here, and I'm gonna go that way.
Same. I'm gonna go Dobbs as well. I think he's offered a decent floor, and I just the backup situation. We don't know if they kind of go conservative. I do admit though, Tyrod has a plus matchup against the Commanders, and then Hoyer has a plus matchup against the. So I do like the DFS aspect of it, but for redraft purposes, I know Dobbs. He's getting the reps. He's been there for weeks. He's been doing it, and I feel comfortable with him against Seattle. So I'm going to go Dobbs.
All right, Dobbs looks like it's going to be the one because I'm actually going to mix it up and go Ritter here. I just want to throw his name in the hat for anybody else considering it. QB5 last week, QB6 the week before that. The Falcons have gone from about 3 years of not running or not throwing the ball at all to 47, 37, 31, 38, 32 pass attempts in 5 of the 6 games here for Desmond Ritter. So just want to throw his name in the hat, but I do think Josh Dobbs has a nice matchup. Tampa Bay, not a great matchup there for Desmond Ritter.
What if Sam Howell is also available in that league?
That's my guy, for sure.
Adoree Jackson was just ruled out, so that's big news for the Giants secondary. He's one of their top outside corners, so that could help McLaurin and Dotson too. So that is a little helpful for Howell.
Sam Howell's my start of the week, actually, when I was on with my boy Mikey Gill out in New Jersey against the Giants. And again, Bob, I know that I'm picking on the Giants, which I am, but I'm not actually. This is a matchups things for me. And they've been playing quite well. And against the Falcons, who have a very good secondary right now, QB7 last week, and then against the Chicago Bears, QB4, he's had over 20 fantasy points in 4 of his 6 games this year. So I think it's a plus matchup even on the road. So I would go with Sam Howell available.
I don't know how you're picking on a team and admitting it, but then not really picking on the team. But I'll let you and Bob discuss that off the air.
Well, I feel like Bob and I obviously need to do some marriage counseling because I think if I bring out some Giants stuff, then I feel like he takes it as a personal attack, right? And it's not. This is not a personal attack. I think that he's sad, and I get it. I dealt with the 49ers in the early 2000s. All right. I have been down when you guys were playing for Super Bowls. I was hoping for 3 wins. All right. So I did that. Now it's my time. Let's just have some fun. And we're going to move on here.
Yep. No, we're not moving on. We're not moving on yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I am not a Giants homer. Okay. I am not a Giants homer when it comes to fantasy football. If you know me, I've never been. This is the first time ever that I was all in on Daniel Jones, Darren Waller. I even talked about like Paris Campbell as a sleeper. I was all in on the Giants offense, and they had imploded. So I got hit twice, not only as a Giants fan, but as a fantasy analyst. It just hurts. And then when you bring it up, it's a little sore spot for me. It is what it is. I'm a little upset. So, but we can move on. I'm just saying, just to defend myself, I hate the Giants, and they all suck. Let's go Commanders.
And Bob, I do feel like I speak for the entire panel here when we are sorry for your loss. We do as a friend. I am sorry for your loss. It's something we need to handle. Pick 3, gentlemen. Osborne, Sutton, Deontay Johnson off IR. First time back in 4 weeks. Will we see him jump right back in there with the Steelers coming off of a bye? Devonta Smith, Josh Palmer in PPR. We need to pick 3 here. Matt, go ahead.
I think we've seen Hiram Cat Jr. once before, have we not, Scott?
We have. I do recognize the name, yes.
Yes.
Welcome back.
For me, this is a quick and easy one for me. I like KJ Osborne, I like Devonta Smith, and I like Josh Palmer. In fact, of those names, Josh Palmer is going to be the guy that goes bananas. 3 20-plus yard catches, called back or overthrown. Plus, he played more snaps than Keenan Allen. So, as much as it pains me and it tastes like bile to say this, I am all in with Bob on Josh Palmer this week.
God damn it. I just put DJ Moore back in my lineup. Can we just get it together here? Can we get it together here?
No, it's Josh Palmer today.
Man, and Justin Herbert loves Josh Palmer. That's real. He really does. Even with Mike Williams, now Mike Williams is out. They're trying to get Josh Palmer going. Man, that one stung last week against the boys. They had that game.
Hey, so Bobby gave me 1 finger earlier. I'm giving you guys 2 because I am on board with Matt. Those are my 3 names. Easy pick. 2.
Same. And by the way, I do have that option of starting Palmer over DJ Moore. And Matt sounds like he's in. Sky said DJ Moore yesterday. Palmer last season did play very well against the Chiefs. He had 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards in one game. He found the end zone in the other one. But the Chiefs secondary looks pretty good. Are we in on Palmer or DJ Moore?
Palmer.
Yeah,
Palmer.
see that one's tough here. So let me answer this question first. So DJ Moore is not in this mix. So I'm gonna make it a 4. I'm gonna make it our first quad ski. So I'm feeling good about that. So if I'm correct again, that was Osborne, Devonta Smith, and Palmer. Those are our 3 here. Bob, DJ Moore, I don't love, and you just broke it all down, right? Like he didn't have a catch until the kid came in and all that. I get it. I'm just a little bit worried about the secondary. But look, Palmer's the second option. It's just matchups doesn't look that way. But Matt's right. I mean, he's had 3 weeks where he could have had an explosive game and it hasn't come through. Maybe it's this week. Division rivals, though, with the Chiefs, man, it's going to be tough. So I still lean DJ Moore, but I do love Josh Palmer. I don't think you can go wrong there. Either one of those guys could have an explosive game. So hopefully we'll get some more information as we go along. Cameron Hill, good morning. Good morning to you. A lot of wide receiver options to choose from. Pick 2, PPR, Puka, Judy, McLaurin, Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson. Again, folks, Deontay Johnson off of waivers. Go look at your waiver wires right now and see if he's even available. Sometimes people don't pick up that guy coming back. They may not have seen him. Might be a free square for you there. So, again, Puka, Judy, McLaurin, Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson. Pick 2 in PPR, Matt.
I think we're going to go 4 for 4 again. Puka and Zay Flowers, it's not even close for me.
2. Yeah, those are my 2 as well.
So there's a developing story. Josh Jacobs, one of the top outside cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions, is out today. That is big news for Zay Flowers in that game. Also, that on the same flip side, though, Dory Jackson is out today for the Giants, which is big news for McLaurin. That being said, if you just look at the numbers here, Baltimore, and I think Puka's a slam dunk. Not disagreeing there. I actually lean. I'm going to lean McLaurin. I'm going to go McLaurin, and I'm going to go with Puka.
McLaurin at the Giants. You like that? The Dory Jackson being out though. Good call there. And we do have an injury report coming up at the top of the hour. Bob, is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent.
You like that?
We've got about 15 minutes until the full injury report there. So stick around, get your questions in right here on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Start sit Sunday. I'm going to go with Puka and Zay Flowers as well. Zay Flowers is a start of the week for me. He's also a trade for candidate. Finally got his first NFL touchdown last week, and the Ravens are starting to pick it up a little bit there. And Puka dropped a touchdown last week. Would have been a bigger game there, and I think the Rams run it, honestly. So I like Puka a lot. All right, Daniel, good morning. Half PPR, Cole Kmet versus the Raiders, or the top option in Atlanta, Jonnu Smith versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Matt?
I pumped him up last week. I think I'm probably going to stick with him and go Jonnu Smith.
Derek?
No, I'm going to go Kmet this way. We talked about before, we've got a rookie quarterback out there. If he gets into a hassle, what is he going to do? He's going to look for his tight end, I think. So I'm going to go Kmet over Smith. And we've seen Pitts is starting to play a little more consistently, which is eventually going to take away from Smith. They're going to get back in line where they need to be, and that might happen. That might be happening right now, frankly. So I'm leaning Kmet here.
I'm going to go Jonnu.
Yeah, Jonnu too. Looking up right now, tight end 4 and 5 last week with Pitts. Caught a touchdown, 9 yards for Cole Kmet last week on 3 targets, 36 for Jonnu Smith. But again, that's pretty much tight end. But before that, 67, 95, and 47 yards. So I'm going to continue there, even though it's not a plus matchup. So I'll go with Jonnu Smith as well.
And I'll just let me add to defend my position here. If you look at Smith's targets, I mean, sure you were comparing him to Pitts, which is pretty low bar, but his targets have been actually trending down over the last 4 weeks. So maybe that's just game fluctuation, but I don't know. I see it as a little bit bigger, but 3-1. I trust you guys, but I I guess we'll see. We'll see how this goes, but I still like Komet just a little bit better.
Bubba, you want? We did it up there. Okay, Jono, got it. I just want to make sure. Didn't know if you had an extra thought there. All right, let's go to DST here. We got the Bucks and the Giants.
Sky, I don't think you should handle this one. I think for sake of your relationship with Bob, it's best if you just take a play off. I'm going to go ahead and handle Mike F. F stands for what?
Football. Florio. Fan.
Derek, do you have an opinion on this one? I'm leaning probably the Bucks, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. Probably a little bit further than you are. We just heard, Giants secondary injuries. We know, we're propping up Sam Howell. We just picked McLaurin in the Giants defense. So, I mean, everything we're saying on the periphery is pointing towards the Bucks here. So, I agree with that. So I would go Bucks.
All right, Bob, keep it together, buddy.
Bucks.
Guy, you can say it real quiet. Only I'm listening.
The Giants allowed 169 passing yards and 128 rushing yards to the Buffalo Bills. Very stout. Giants might be a sleeper DST this week. Moving on. Maverick, full point PPR. Need 2. Rashee Rice versus the Chargers. Chris Godwin versus the Falcons. And Zay Flowers versus the Lions. We haven't talked about Godwin or Rice yet. We need 2 in PPR. Matt?
That's a really good threesome of wide receivers to choose from. I think the best defensive backs are with the Falcons. So just going off of that, and I'm going to go with Rice and Flowers. Flowers is a no doubt for me. So of the other two, I think I'm going to lean Rice, who's seen his targets go up, just got his first touchdown and showed the explosiveness. So I like Rice and Flowers.
Yeah, I do as well. Rice and Flowers. The only thing that just gives me a little bit of pause is the fact that Mahomes tends to throw to 15 different receivers, every week. So there's a little bit of risk there with Rice, but on paper, I think the matchup's favored as well. Rice and Flowers of these 3, but yeah, these are 3 good receivers, and if you're whichever 2 you pick, I think you're feeling pretty comfortable, but. To me, it's going to be Rice and Flowers.
I actually think it's Rice and Flowers, and it's not close. I actually think Godwin is someone I'm trying to proactively not start this week because of that matchup against Atlanta. So I'm actually going to go Flowers and Rice.
Godwin gets Jeff Okudah. Don't love that. I might go with him otherwise, but I don't like that matchup one-on-one. Zay Flowers and Rice. Thumbs up for white rice, thumbs down for brown rice. White rice or brown rice, gentlemen?
White rice for me. Sticky.
Fried.
Sushi style.
Brown.
So that's a thumbs up. I mean, it was clear. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and now we just see, man, we're all over the place.
We got a plan for these things, Scott. You can't just bust out food topics like this.
Look, Derek, the people come here because we are professionals. So we need to be We need to be ready to go. Now, we have a question here from William Jones. Who?
William Jones.
That's correct. PPRTA. We need the Everett, Henry, Knox. Ooh, we're in the bottom of the barrel here. We got a bye week situation up here, boys. PPR, Everett, Henry, Knox. Matt?
Logan Thomas or Musgrave if available. Jonnu Smith if available over any of these 3. If I have to play one, it's probably Knox for the chance of a touchdown. But I don't like any of the 3.
Yeah, I'll second that. I don't really like any of the 3. I think in any case, if any one of them scores a touchdown, they're probably leading this back. And so we're not really sure which one that is. But if you just look at pure rankings wise, the ones I tend to point to, it has Everett actually quite a few spots over both Henry and Knox. So my rankings say Everett is the play.
Yeah, I would say Henry. Just go for it. Have fun.
I think Henry too, because I just don't see the Patriots moving the ball at all with anybody else. Maybe Ramondre, but just checkdowns. Like they're not going to move the ball deep. I don't think too much here. Just looking last week here, Everett had 5 targets, 3 catches, 16 yards. Before that, 9. Not looking good there. He's not a top option, obviously, for the Colts.
And mind
or
you,
for the Chargers.
Green Bay was one of 2 teams on bye last week. Musgrave was dumped in a lot of leagues for people that were protecting from injuries and whatnot. So, and by the way, I went to look for him to see on the Yahoo leagues where he was. He's at least a screen and a half down on your phone if you're scrolling through tight ends. So he may be out there and you may not know it. And I would start him 100 times out of 100 over these 3 this week.
Yeah, another option too, just kind of in general, if you're streaming like this and you're in trouble, take a look at Adam Troutman. I don't expect big games from him, but Greg Dulcich started on IR. They just put him back on IR, so he's not healthy there either. So it looks like might be another option. Lindorphins, just giving some love. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate the thoughtful feedback. Appreciate you, brother. AJ, good morning. And Beach.
Thanks for participating.
Sorry, I gotta finalize all the injuries, Matt. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure we got everything covered here. All right.
That's true. Bob's on the clock. We have a T-minus. I got about 7 minutes on my side. We're going to have a top of the hour injury report breakdown for about 10 minutes with Bob solo. So everyone stay tuned for the updated injury report here. Beach, good morning. Great to have you back as always. We got, let's see, a big one here, but I think we're just looking for one flex and a receiver. Okay, flex and receiver. Here we go. Jeff Wilson, first game this season. Najee Harris off a bye. Josh Downs. Ajax Smith and Jigba. Julio Jones. Let's go. I just want to see Julio on the field. I know, Matt. I know. This is a childhood thing for me. I just want to see Julio out there doing well. And Jamison Williams. So Jeff Wilson, Najee Harris, Josh Downs, Smith and Jigba, Julio Jones, Jamison Williams. We need 2. Let's pick a flex and a red receiver.
Big ups to Jeff Wilson for making it all the way back. I know Sky, was pouring out a little bit for Jeff Wilson Jr. every week. But no, he's not going to be the guy that I select. I think if you drafted and roster Najee Harris, you have to start him and hope that he does what he's supposed to do. I don't love him. I like Jaylen Warren. I've been pumping up Jaylen Warren. In fact, I've doubled down that Jaylen Warren will be the starter by week 8. So I've got this week and next week to see that come to fruition. But I'd probably go with Najee because it's not their bye week, and he's had his bye week, and he's the top drafted guy on this list for sure. If DK doesn't play, I can see JSN being a starter for you, but with Jamison Williams getting a little bit more run lately, I might lean him for the home run hit because one catch from him could be an entire PPR day for a slot receiver. So give me Najee, JSN if DK doesn't play, and if DK does play, give me Jamison Williams, but I don't love that. I don't love any of it, to be honest.
We won't know because Detroit plays at 10 or 1, and then they don't play till the late window. So we're not going to actually know if DK's in or out until later. So we have to make the decision now, knowing what we know now. Are you going
All right,
J-Mo?
so give me J-Mo and Najee for me then.
Okay.
And I'm not a fan of it.
Now, Bobby, give me a little preview of your injury report. Are there any reasons to knock down the Browns secondary so we can pick Josh Downs here? Is there anything there
exactly.
that kind of gives us an edge here?
No, Greg Newsome, their outside quarterback, is back this week, so they're healthy.
So they're even better.
Yeah, I mean that's the one out of this whole list that I would love to pick would be Downs, but he's getting the most snaps, most targets, I think, and yeah, that matchup is just really tough. I agree with Matt. Jamison Williams long, blowing the roof off might surpass all of them, but he only got 16 snaps last week. He's only getting about 3 targets, and in a PPR, we want targets. We want those catches, and he's just not giving it. Julio Jones. Do we? I mean, he could blow up. First game back. Who knows? But we don't. you can't think that's going to happen. I mean, he's been out of football for a while, and he didn't even look all that great when he was, we last saw him. So
he'll be released within 3 weeks.
Oh, jeez.
That's a little rough, but
Jeez.
That's what we're here for, Bob, right? Rough.
Oof.
You've been taking it like a champ all
so
morning.
I'm kind of going down process of elimination. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Wilson Jr. is the pick here. Honestly, I mean, we saw Chan when he came in. Was it week 3? I think he came in and Mostert was getting all the work, and we said, okay, he's finally going to play, but he's going to get a limited role. And what do? He rolled up, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever. So there is work in that Dolphins backfield coming right off of an injured injury list or missing games. We saw it with Achane. This is a flex position. I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to go Jeff Wilson Jr. and see what happens. It'll be fun anyway. So I'm going to go Jeff Wilson Jr.
I'm going to go Jeff Wilson Jr. as well, and over Najee against that Rams run defense. And then I'm going to go with JSN. The matchups, the Cardinals secondary is kind of unraveling a little bit over the last few weeks, and they're one of the better matchups for wide receivers. So I'm going to just go with the matchups in this. If I'm struggling this deep, just play the guys with the best matchups, and you can rationalize that later. So I'm going to go JSN and Jeff Wilson.
Okay, so I'm pretty confident we're going to be not helpful at all in this entire question here. So we're gonna clear all this up in 1 second and just give our 2 names because we've said a lot. I'm going to mix everything up here and go Smith and Jigba and Josh Downs. I hate the matchup for Josh Downs, but he's getting the work in PPR leagues. 12 targets, 6 and 8 in 3 of the last 4 games. It's a brutal matchup, but they're still going to pepper him. Gardner's going to continue to pepper him. They have to. Finally scored a touchdown last week. Smith and Jigba has been off the radar for the Seahawks. He had a broken hand coming in. DK Metcalf's coming in questionable. Arizona gives up the 11th most slot yards to wide receivers. I like that a lot. The snap share and the target share went from 59% over the first 5 weeks for Smith and Jigba, jumped to 70 last week. I think they want to get this kid rolling here. So he's going to be a sneaky play for me this week. So Smith and Jigba and Josh Downs for me. Matt, can you just repeat who you had so we can clean this up a little bit?
Najee and J-Mo.
Derek.
Yeah, well, he was just asking for one, so I only gave Wilson. But yeah, if I had to pick my second one, I would say Smith and Jabba as well, for the reasons you said.
So he wants one flex, one wide receiver.
Oh yeah, okay, I missed that. Yeah, so Wilson and Smith, and Jabba for me.
Same, JSN and Wilson.
Okay, so JSN does have a few more votes there. Alrighty. Bob, do you want to get going here, or do you want to do one more?
One more.
All right, you got it. One more question, folks, and we're going to take a quick break. We are going to take a quick break. Bob is going to stay on with you and give a 10-minute rundown of the updated injuries heading into Week 7. Daniel is back. We have another DST question here. We got the Chiefs versus the Chargers, the Lions versus the Ravens, and the Steelers versus the Rams. Daniel, I love that you set us up with their opponents because DSTs are so much based on matchup, obviously. So thank you for laying it out that way. Matt?
Did we lose Matt?
Yep. Derek, go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, if it wasn't for the injury in the Lions secondary, they would be my easy pick. But I'm still going to go with them just slightly over the Steelers. So yeah, Lions, Steelers, Chiefs in that order for me. But the Lions and Steelers, they're pretty close. I think the Rams offense is a little more. There's a little more opportunity there than Baltimore's. So I like the Lions defense a little better here.
I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Oh man, really?
Yep.
I know they're playing super well, but I mean, you just don't think that. Well, yeah, never mind. I'm not going to get into it. The Chargers should score 35 a week, and they scored 15, so I get it. Lions versus Baltimore, Steelers versus the Rams. Man, I hate to do it. I think I have to agree with Bob. Not hate to agree with Bob, but I hate to take the Chiefs in this matchup because divisional opponent there. And let's see, 3 sacks, a fumble recovery, 20 points last week against the Vikings, who, for all intents and purposes, are maybe an equivalent offense overall right now to the Chargers, although the Chargers should be much better. Styles, we got you back here, man. Why don't you jump in real quick before we take a quick break for Bob? We got a DST question. We got Chiefs, Lions, Steelers. Psych. All right, folks, we're going to go to break here. So the three of us are going to take.
My internet keeps hiccuping. Yeah, I'm with Derek on this one. Lions slightly over the Steelers. I will tell you that the analytics nerds really love the Chiefs this week. I can't quite figure out why. Bob, I'm not calling you a nerd, but you know, if the shoe fits. So I'm sticking with Derek. I think I'm going Lions slightly over the Steelers. Again, I think the Rams are going to throw 45 times this week, which makes TJ Watt a really good play, but I'm still leaning the Lions here. Apologies for the hiccups, boys.
I thought you were just doing like a Matthew Styles thing where you're just like, I don't want to answer. I'm just going to sit still for a second. So I was like, all right, that's protesting. He's doing a sit-in right now. That works.
Love it.
All right, let's get into this, guys. You guys can hop off for a second. I am going to do our injury rundowns here and talk quickly about some of the notable injuries that are going to impact your fantasy lineups in week 7. All right. Let's get into it. I'm going to make this big so I can see what's going on. Of course, Jimmy Garoppolo is out today against the Chicago Bears. Talking quickly about Brian Hoyer, did average 10 yards per attempt last week. Very capable backup. If you are looking for a DFS streamer, I do like Brian Hoyer as an option this week against the Chicago Bears, who have been vulnerable. We also have 2 starting outside cornerbacks, actually inside and outside cornerbacks. 2 of the 3 starters for the Raiders are out today. That's good news for DJ Moore, who did have 5 catches with the backup Bears quarterback last week. So Justin Fields, of course, is out this week as well. But those 2 injuries should help DJ Moore if you need him to still be a wide receiver 3. They will be down one of their key offensive linemen in Nate Davis. So the Raiders defense is still on the streamer radar with some of these injuries. Do not feel like you need to fade them at all, even with the back end being a little banged up. But come to us with your DS streamer questions. Herbert and Johnson are out. Looks like Deontay Foreman will be the starter this week as they play the Raiders. Good, very soft run defense. Look for Foreman to be a solid RB2 in this matchup. On the other side for the Bears, they also have a couple injuries. Eddie Jackson, Terrell Smith as well are out. That's 2 safeties. So that's another good little feather in the cap for Brian Hoyer. We did bring up maybe a Brian Hoyer, Devontae Adams squeaky wheel stack in DFS could be key because some of the injuries we saw in the secondary this week. We also have Deshaun Watson is officially in this week against the Indianapolis Colts. I do like him as a potential streamer. If he was dropped and you need to start somebody with 6 bye weeks, Deshaun Watson is not a bad option. We do have some injuries for the Colts starters. Of course, Anthony Richardson is out for the season on IR, but Braden Smith, right tackle, and Kylan Granson, the starting tight end for the Colts, is out today. Against that Browns defense, I don't think we're going to get cute. I think if anything, you're going to start that Browns defense if you need to start a player in that matchup. David Montgomery is out. Jahmyr Gibbs is in. We also have Craig Reynolds is officially in as well. I think Craig Reynolds will get more work than expected, but expect Jahmyr Gibbs to be a solid play this week on volume alone in that matchup against the Ravens, who do have a very strong run defense. So I wouldn't get overly excited. Bring your Gibbs questions to us. Brian Branch is back this week, the slot cornerback. That's great news because Jerry Jacobs, the other cornerback, is out. So we're basically flipping 2 injuries here, but Brian Branch plays in the slot. So with Jerry Jacobs being out wide, that's good news for Zay Flowers in that matchup. Some 6-score updates from the previous week. The Lions and the Ravens are both getting healthier in the secondary from previous weeks. We do have some injuries moving around there as well for the Lions, but that is notable. The Ravens defense started in the 50s. When I tell you their 6-score was like 54 when we started talking about this, now it's all the way up to 83.7. The Ravens defense is something to watch. They could be very good down the stretch, very talented with Marlon Humphrey and company coming back, so that's good news for them as well. The Bills' pass team remains extremely banged up this week going up against the Patriots. The Bills' defense as a whole is very banged up. They're also down another defensive lineman in Ed Oliver. I really like Ramondre Stevenson in this matchup. The Bills have been very soft against the run with all these injuries with Matt Milano and company. So I do like the Patriots, like Ramondre Stevenson, to play well. If you're really desperate, Kendrick Bourne played very well last week, could be on the wide receiver 3 map in this matchup. With Damian Harris out, if you're looking for a streamer, Lat Murray is another option, as it looks like there will be 2 running backs between James Cook and Lat Murray in that matchup in this game. Dalton Kincaid should be back this week. Does make things a little murky if you're looking for a tight end streamer, as the Patriots have been pretty good against tight ends overall, so I'm not really excited to start him. Demario Douglas and Hunter Henry are officially active this week while Juju Smith-Schuster is out. Demario Douglas is a deeper name. If you're in a deeper league and you're looking for a stash, Demario Douglas looked very well and started taking more snaps from Juju before the injuries, and he could be the slot receiver moving forward. Patriots pass D6 scores, so 63.7, still extremely banged up. Look for the Bills to take advantage of that. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and company should be in your lineups this week. As discussed earlier, Craig Reynolds is officially in, should be over where Jahmyr Gibbs is. That he is someone, if you want to look at as a deeper name. Not excited for that Ravens matchup, though, so he's only if you're really desperate. Jalen Thompson, Antonio Hamilton, 2 of the main slot guys for the Cardinals pass D, which is also really banged up. You see that 6 scores. 6 scores, SICscore.com. Sports Injury Central. Make sure you go check them out as well. They do great work for injuries. 74.7 for that Cardinals pass D. JSN has been coming up a few times. I really do like him this week if you need a spot start, especially with DK Metcalf, a game time decision. So JSN could be a sleeper. Get Tyler Lockett in your DFS lineups. Zach Charbonnet is officially out this week. I mean, Kenneth Walker, if he doesn't explode and become a monster, DJ Dallas will be the RB2 this week. But, man, if you have Kenneth Walker, let's ride. Pat Freiermuth is out and officially on IR now with Deontay Johnson coming back this week. Very tough matchup on the road against that Rams outside secondary. I am not starting Deontay Johnson if you can fade him, but he is back officially. Kyron Williams and Ronnie Rivers are officially on IR, which means that the running back situation is up for grabs. Reports have come out earlier today in regards to Freeman and also Henderson getting the nod over God, why am I forgetting the rookie's name? Zach Evans. So basically, if you were getting my advice, I would say Darrell Henderson is the running back to own. I expect him to get majority of the work. If you're desperate and you need an RB2 this week, I would lean his direction. Justin Watson, that's just a typo, folks, but that's okay. We acknowledge our errors. Watson is out. That could open things up for the Chiefs' passing game, but Mecole Hardman was just traded for us, so it's just as murky as ever. Your guess is good as mine. Which Chiefs player really good? I just have Travis Kelce in my DFS lineup this week. Derwin James, stud safety for the Chargers, a game time decision. Even banged up, that's still going to be great news for Travis Kelce if you want to get him in your DFS lineup. Greg Dulcich is out for the next few weeks. He's on IR as well. That should open things up for guys like Jerry Jeudy and company in the Denver Broncos matchup against the Green Bay Packers, who are very tough against the wide receiver position. Not really looking to start either of those guys, Sutton and Jeudy. Aaron Jones, he will be in. Jeff Wilson is officially in as well. Reed Blankenship out for the Eagles against that Dolphins. They needed all hands on deck. Not good. Good news to still get Darius Slay and Justin Evans back. Jalen Carter as well. Some of those injuries, that's good news for that Eagles front. Darius Slay being back is just in time for him to get roasted by Tyreek Hill. We also have Charles Leno, left tackle for the Washington Commanders, should be back this week against the Giants. Dre Greenlaw should be back. He's a game time decision on Monday night, but he should be back against the Vikings, which is good for that run defense. But watch out for that. Could open things up for Alexander Madison if he's out this week. Unfortunately, we will not know for sure. Aaron Jones, we already discussed, is in. Kareem Hunt is officially active today. Some notable outs that we found out too. Jerry Jacobs out today for the Detroit Lions. That should open things up like we brought up earlier for the Zay Flowers. Adoree Jackson out today. He was going to line up a lot against Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is now a solid wide receiver 2/3. And Evan Neal, the sweet boy Evan Neal, is also out this week. The Giants' offensive line will be shooken up again as they lose another starter on the offensive line. Super exciting stuff there, folks. We will probably see a lot of sacks of Tyrod Taylor this week for the Washington Commanders. That's all we got for the injury report today, folks. We do appreciate jumping on. Let's get back to your questions. Sky Gawasko, I'm bringing the team back in. Sky, I'm moving him to the top because he's the captain. Let's roll.
Captain, like that. Got the C on the chest, kind of like Charlie Conway. If anyone's Charlie
Mighty
Conway.
Ducks. All right.
All right, let's move on here.
Curtis Conway for the Bears.
Wow, Curtis Conway, nice. Yeah, I'm out.
Chris
Okay.
Christie.
Chris. Oh, well, see, now we're just off the rails. I was going Conway and got a little bit lost there. Okay, let's go with Julie Gaffney was the goalie there before Goldberg as well. Just want to be clear on that for Mighty Ducks.
Shout out to Jules.
Hey, I just I get down on my Disney Channel. All right, here we go. Ozzy wants to know, morning gents. We got 2 wide receivers. We got Evans, Lockett, London, McLaurin, Jacoby Myers. This is a legit question. A lot of startable options here, gentlemen. Maddie, we'll kick it off with you.
Yikes. Evans is the guy I want to start, but I'm probably starting McLaurin and Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, this is a nice list. Nice list of receivers to pick from. To me, it's going to be Lockett and Myers for the and I mean Evans. We think we want to play him, but that's a tough matchup against the Falcons defense. We were talking about that earlier. And I know some of you guys like McLaurin. I'm not as high on him, so it's a little bit easier for me to go Lockett and Myers here for these two.
Lockett and Myers. I feel like I'm riding Derek's coattails all morning. I 100% agree. Lockett is a slam dunk for me this week. I think he's a borderline wide receiver 1 in that matchup, especially with DK banged up. And then Jacoby Myers. Listen, last week, I don't know what it is, but Jacoby Myers continues to be, we don't want to say it, but he's the wide receiver 1 for the Raiders.
You're wrong.
Nope. So I don't know, man. It doesn't, even if he's the number 2, they've been funneling targets to those guys. So I'm going to go Myers. And the Chicago Bears are banged up in the secondary. Going for it. Myers, Lockett.
I'm not gonna stand for the Devontae Adams hate. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not hating on I'm just talking about numbers. The numbers say that Jacoby Myers has been the wide receiver 1. Devontae Adams is and should be the one. He's probably the best receiver in football. I'm not saying Devontae Adams isn't a stud, but for some reason Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't agree. So,
for some reason, because he's Jimmy Garoppolo. Go ahead, Derek.
I was just going to say 3 out of his 5 games he's had double-digit targets. Myers has, and in a PPR, that rises him up regardless. 3 out of 5 games, 60% of games he has double-digit targets.
There's no reason to think that 2 wide receivers can't coexist in the top 12, 15. We see it every single year, right? I mean, there's always 2 or 3 combos. Right now it's Puka and Kupp. Obviously, we've seen Chase and Higgins, Thielen and Diggs back in the day, Woods and Kupp back in the day, Devonta Smith and AJ Brown last year. Godwin and Evans have done that as well. Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So it's certainly possible. I like that. I was just looking into Mike Evans a little bit because I have been going back and forth with him in a couple of my leagues already. And my issue is he's going against AJ Terrell. Bob hates the matchup. We talk about the matchups there. But AJ Terrell and Mike Evans have quite a bit of history. And last year, Evans did pretty well. He caught 4 of his 6 targets for 81 yards, which isn't terrible. Terry McLaurin this year, though, is the only wide receiver against AJ Terrell's primary coverage to have 60 wide receiving yards. Don't love that. We know that Mike Evans can blow up, but he can also disappear. I think this is a Chris Godwin week for the Bucks, so I'm going to fade him a little bit. Lockett's a smash, and I love what you guys said about Jacoby Myers. And, of course, I love Devontae Adams as well. But I'm going to go in this particular question, Lockett and Jacoby Myers. All right, let's go with Jets fan. Matt, pop quiz. Which team does this guy root for?
Most likely the New York Football Giants.
I agree. I think this is actually it's one of those like fake Homer burner accounts. So I agree. 12
might be Zach Wilson. Might be Zach Wilson's mom.
Nice. Well, welcome to the program.
He could be a fan of airplanes, and he's a Jets fan. Like he just likes aircrafts. So we don't even know that. We don't want to assume that he's a Jets fan. We do apologize for assumptions on this podcast.
That's true.
Could be a Winnipeg hockey fan.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously Fireman Ed, but either way, let's move forward here to PPR Superflex. All right. I'm going to win. Give it 20. All right. So unfortunately, we've lost a couple of guys here. Evan Ingram now is one of the either. We got Ayuk and Swift, or David Montgomery for Hurts, Deshaun
It's
Watson.
like a trade
Okay.
question, it looks like.
Yeah, it was just kind of laid out interestingly there. Sorry about that. Okay. So basically, are you looking at Ayuk and Swift or Montgomery? Wow.
All right,
guys
so
help me with this one?
After the word team,
All
I
right.
don't know what the question
All
is.
right, so this is a super flex keeper league, okay? 12-team PPR. So he's a win now team. He's obviously 5-1, 6-4-2, whatever it is. He has Anthony Richardson, and he wants to unload Richardson to get some assets. So he's looking for teams that are like 0-5 because it's a keeper league. So he's trying to unload Richardson in the Minshew combo to get himself some win now players. So his question is, do you trade like Richardson, Minshew, quarterback, Bryce Young? It's a super flex. That's why Bryce Young's in this. And Evan Ingram, and either Ayuk and Swift or Monty for Hurts / Deshaun Watson, Hockenson, and Devonta Smith. So essentially, you're trading the Richardson Minshew combo and Bryce Young to get Hurts and Deshaun Watson. Then you're flipping Ingram to get Hockenson, and then also you have to throw in one of Ayuk, Swift, or Monty to get Devonta Smith. Now, my opinion is that there's a lot going on here. And also, like, Ayuk is someone I'm not trying to trade. The 49ers have the best out-wide schedule rest of season. Monty has been out of his mind this year. Out of his mind. I know he's banged up. Same with Swift. The question I have, though, here is we'll cover some of this, is that is the team that's going to make this trade, they're throwing their season away because they're going to get rid of Hurts and Deshaun to get these two quarterbacks in a super flex. They have to be done, and they have to be all out. They have to be like 0-6, 1-5 to even think about accepting this trade. But at the same time, I think you could probably make this a lot easier. And instead of adding in trying to upgrade your tight end from Ingram to Hockenson, I think you're trying to make it you're trying to get too many upgrades at once. I think you got to focus on the quarterback, reach out to him, say, all right, I want Jalen Hurts. I will give you Anthony Richardson as a keeper, and also one of my other guys to upgrade a wide receiver spot for you or whatever. And if you throw me back somebody, that's fine. I think you got to simplify the trade. I think there's too many moving parts here, in my opinion. But I do like the idea if the team who has Hurts is 0-6, I could see from their perspective being like, well, I mean, the problem is Hurts is a keeper. So Hurts, you would have to give me, like Richardson, do we believe long-term Richardson is better than Hurts? And we would have to know the price point, right? So if it's a $20, you keep Richardson for $20. Do you have to keep Hurts for $80? And how much is your budget? This is a very detailed, nuanced question. But my thought process is you have to figure out a way to give this guy keepers that are values for him in the future. So Richardson's great, but he's losing Hurts. So that's not good for him. You need to give him something that is a great long-term asset that doesn't impact your team. So the problem is Ayuk, Swift, and Monty are all studs. Like, you don't want to trade them. And no offense, I don't mean to throw shade at Devonta Smith. I'd rather have Swift, Ayuk, and Monty over Devonta Smith. I'd rather have, so I don't see from the other person's perspective that you're offering him a trade that he wants. That's kind of how I thought here. But what's anybody have any other comments?
Everything Bob said.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, I actually had a comment on my article this week that was kind of along this lines, and one of the names they included was Bryce Young, and I think the idea is using the number 1 draft pick Bryce Young as, like you said, give that other owner needs something to grab onto for next year and beyond, and I think what I'm reading out of this, between Richardson and Young, you get two top draft pick young players to build on for next year. Is that going to be enticing enough, to get Hurts and Hawk and Smith? And I think I read it, that's what he's trying to do. But I tend to agree with you. I think it's probably a little too complex for what he wants to do. I mean, he's got a pretty good squad already. I don't see like a huge upgrade here, with other than the quarterback. Obviously, I don't see a huge upgrade in the other positions for the team. So I would try to simplify this as well. But yeah,
I guess before someone else answers, I do want to say one more thing. Is that the problem is Hurts is going to be good maybe for another decade. Like Hurts is not like a Derrick Henry type player where Derrick Henry's time is coming to an end soon, but he's still good this year. Like I feel like if you're going to make a trade like this, you need to acquire players who are studs for maybe the next year or two and give up long-term assets that are maybe not as good this year, but long-term.
Yeah, and so moving forward, I mean, if you're that owner who's out of it and looking to the future, would you rather go into next year with Richardson and Young or Hurts and Watson?
Hurts and Watson.
Yeah, and I think that's what what our follow here, what he's trying to entice the other owner, that Richardson and Young is a better option moving forward than Hurts and Watson.
I think then he has to give up one of his other guys then. Like if you want to do this deal and you want to give him Richardson and Bryce Young for Watson and Hurts, you have to give up Ayuk. I would ask for one of those guys without giving up Smith and Hockenson. Like, fine, I'm 0-6. I'll take these future assets. I also want one of your studs. Give me Swift, give me Ayuk, give me Monty, and that's the deal.
Certainly the Hurts team has the leverage here, for sure.
Yeah, and I think but the question is, would you guys do that deal? Would you guys – because it's a super flex, and I guess we'd have to know who's your QB1 right now. Like, do you have a QB1, or is Minshew, Bryce Young your two QBs? Because it is a huge upgrade to go from those two to Hurts and Deshaun. And so is it worth it to trade Ayuk, Swift, or Monty in that deal? What are your thoughts, Scott?
You guys have talked this in circles here. I'm going to just lay it down. I mean, ultimately, you want the best players. That's clearly Hurts and Deshaun. For me, it's not a question. I mean, Richardson's going to be coming back off an injury. Bryce Young's not proven. Terrible offense. I don't want to deal with that. I love Ayuk and Swift and Monty, assuming he's healthy. Moving forward, a lot of pieces back and forth, but I agree with Matt. I'm going to bow out of this so we can keep going. You guys have talked to this quite a bit here. Any other comments on this trade?
Move on.
Great. Jets fan, thank you for bringing that in. I appreciate it. All right. We have X Karma G. Osborne, Sutton, Smith. A lot of questions here.
So, Sky, we don't know what X Karma G is playing with, and there's a lot of questions from this follower. So what we may need to do is get some context. Is he or she asking for flex, wide receiver, running back? Is it PPR? Is it not? But when I scroll down, it's a lot of names with no context.
Yep.
So we want to help. Too. We want to give the best info possible.
I see that too. So Karma, here's what we're going to ask. We see the comments on the back end, but for everybody else watching and for us to really bring up everything on one particular question on the screen so we could talk through it, can you please just resubmit your question ultimately? Let us know what format. So PPR, half PPR, and then let us know the team, the players you're looking to choose and what positions we need to look at, running back, flex, wide receiver. Please just chunk all that into one singular comment, and then once we get back to that, we will do that, just so we have a little bit more information there. Thank you very much. William Jones is back. Matt, who's this?
William Jones.
That's correct. If Jones doesn't play, who should I pivot to? Warren, Henderson, or Gibby? So we got three different handcuffs here. Who are we going to if Jones doesn't play?
I think Bob said Aaron Jones is playing, so I'm all in with Aaron Jones.
Derek?
Yeah, I mean, we get confirmation from Bob. I think everything we've heard, seen that he is playing, right, Bob?
That's correct.
Yeah. So if something happens between now and then, Warren would be my pivot.
Okay, Bob, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I guess if we're operating in a hypothetical here, we're not going to know in time for Gibson, so it's going to have to be a late window game. Do we know I don't have it open right now. Sorry. The late window games, because the Packers play tonight, right?
3:25.
You're
excuse me, 4:25 Eastern.
Afternoon, yeah.
So it's going to have to be Henderson here, because I think Warren, right?
Steelers. Yeah, Henderson is the guy that you can swap in for Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my recommendation is, like, don't wait on Jones. if for whatever reason the late window comes and Jones is ruled out, it's okay to pivot to Henderson in that scenario.
And generally,
Warren's also in the late window.
Yeah, Warren's a late game. Yeah.
Yeah. I would go ahead, Sky.
And generally, 45 minutes before kickoff, whatever time that kickoff is for a particular game, 45 minutes, they have the pretty much the guaranteed game time decisions are usually decided at about 45 minutes. So within 30 minutes, you should have an actual report of Jones is playing or he's not, and then you can go from there. So you don't have to wait to the minute, but be careful there. All right, AJ. Welcome back. Got to start 14 team full PPR. Hunt, Foreman, Dillon, Latavius Murray, or Royce Freeman. Please come back, James Conner. Have Elliott 2, but I'm already starting Stevenson at one of the RB slots. Okay, so first of all, can we just unanimously, we're going Ramondre over Zeke, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so all right, so we'll take that out. Okay, 14 team PPR. We got to start 2, gentlemen. Hunt, Foreman, Dillon, Murray, the ghost of Royce Freeman. Go Ducks. Matt?
I am going to start Deontay Foreman and Latavius Murray.
Oof, that's quite the tandem.
I thought this was going to be easy, but no. Hunt and Foreman for me. It is a PPR. Hunt getting targets. I think that bumps him up above the Cook Murray timeshare. So Hunt and Foreman for me.
Hot take: Latavius Murray falls in for 2 touchdowns today.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Murray and Foreman for me.
Yeah, same. Matt, I think that's legit. Patriots can't stop the Bills. The last 3 years, the Bills have been insane against the Patriots. Everybody but Gabe Davis eats for the Bills against the Patriots. So,
and mind you, where are they insane?
In the membrane.
Nailed it.
All right, let's move on here. Official Savage.
I think you guys are insane in the membrane, but
big ups to Cypress Hill. Sit down and be real.
Okay. Official Savage. It's been a few weeks, am I right, gentlemen? Haven't seen Savage come in. So hope you had a great vacation. Hope everything's well, Savage. Great to have you back. Long time no see. My thoughts exactly. Deep 2 14-teamers back to back. Love this. Deep 14-team PPR league. Flex spot. Zach Evans, who looks to be the backup now to Darrell Henderson. Josh Reynolds. Jaleel McLaughlin, or Brandon Powell. So we need to just pick one here in a deep PPR league, Matt.
I think Javonte is all the way back and has a good matchup against Green Bay. So I'm probably fading McLaughlin at this point. Brandon Powell is a guy that seems to catch touchdowns, but not anything else. Zach Evans is buried down somewhere in that 4-headed running back by committee. So Josh Reynolds for me. But again, right, it's bye week. You're going to start some type of turd in your game. And for me, I prefer the turd that gets the most targets, and that's Josh Reynolds.
Yeah. Hashtag upside turd.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it's Brandon Powell. 10 targets in the last 2 weeks, and he has a rushing attempt in each of the last 2 games. So is he Debo light, for the Vikings? There's an interesting little nugget there. We're not going to see Debo Monday night. Are we going to see Debo light? So anyway, I'm going to go Brandon Powell here.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah. Bob, go ahead.
Yikes.
The old yikes. Love that.
Yikes is synonymous with ugh, I think.
First of all, Official Savage, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for being on. Appreciate you, man. Man, I don't completely hate the Brandon Powell take. I'm just gonna go with Josh Reynolds.
Now, did we ever find out if it's Savage or Savage?
Ooh.
Well, I believe it is Savage based on the the typage here, right? Like
I think
capital V, capital G's. You know what? Until we hear otherwise, Matt, we're gonna audible. We're gonna call an audible at the line right now. Official Savage. I like that a lot. I got to go with Josh Reynolds. Baltimore's secondary is beat up. I think it's going to be a shootout no matter what. We talked about road Goff earlier, which is a thing when they're good somewhere and not somewhere else. Like road Ben Roethlisberger for his entire career was not great. But Goff is just good. So I don't think we have to do road Goff anymore. And I think the Lions are going to be just fine here. So I'm going to go with Josh Reynolds. And I think it's a big night. We had talked about Debo Light. I think it's a nice night for Ronnie Bell. Just keep that name in tow Monday night with Debo out. All right. Shane, good morning. Picked up Michael Mayer. Do I start him against the Bears over Darren Waller? All right. Bob, we're going to jump right to you on this one here. Also, flex Lockett, Brian Robinson, or Addison half PPR. So, two-part question. Bob, we'll start with you. We'll go to Matt and then Derek. Let's go tight end first and then wide receivers.
Playing Waller. Flex. Ooh. Man, I like Brian Robinson this week.
Yeah, he's sneaky.
Yeah, I do. I really love Lockett. I'm not going to sit Lockett. It's half PPR, which is even worse. That makes it even worse. Let me just look. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy here. Yeah,
isn't that better for a guy like Lockett, though? Because Lockett's not really a volume guy. He's,
Yeah, I'm going to go Lockett and Waller.
I'm going to go Waller, and I am going to go Brian Robinson. I'm going to stay away from Lockett because I've done it all morning. I don't have a real reason other than I'm just going to stick to my guns. But I prefer Brian Robinson. Another DFS lineup I built has Brian Robinson leading the way. So I like Robinson. You guys continue to ride Tyler Lockett. I won't disagree. Double negative. I just prefer Brian Robinson. So Waller and Robinson for me.
Wow, we're not going to be any help at all because I like Mayer and Addison.
Yikes.
Ugh.
That's the two, Mayer and Addison.
So, Matt, just quick math. I know it's early, but if you go double negative, that means you agree.
I may not.
Okay.
You may not agree.
Yeah.
Maybe
I may disagree, but not all the way. I just like the fact that Bob did not get emotional. I play Waller, right? Boom. Info, I'm out.
Bob's a professional. We're 30 minutes less from kickoff. Bob is absolutely in the zone right now.
I'm just full tilting about this. I'm full tilting on the Josh Palmer, DJ Moore situation, though. That's why I'm trying to.
Oh, from 2 hours ago. Bob's still.
But it's Palmer. Palmer.
Brian Robinson had a nice week 2 versus Denver, which everyone does. But since then, my issue is he's not getting the work that we want him to get as a starting running back. I like Sam Howell. I don't really love the run game. I love the player. He's scoring, which is nice. But I got to go Tyler Lockett there for that one. And I'm going to stick with Darren Waller this week. I think it'll be a bounce back. Again, the whole narrative changes on Darren Waller and everything else if we have either the pass interference called and we have another play at the goal line, or he catches that touchdown, one of the two, in the last 2 weeks. So when he starts getting those in, I think he's going to be just fine. And as Charles Clay remembers, Tyrod Taylor does like the tight end position.
So the number one guy we've received questions on today, without a doubt, is Tyler Lockett. Do you guys want to take 30 seconds each and explain your Tyler Lockett for the people that are still tuned in? Because there's a lot of people tuned in. I assume Lockett is a question for many of them.
Yeah, Tyler
Lockett's
I will
back out. I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, he destroys the Cardinals annually. I don't think they have a secondary that can beat him. Geno Smith isn't that good, but DK Metcalf's hurt. Smith and Jigba is going to take over the middle, plus the run game, bringing up the safeties. Tyler Lockett's the burner down the field. It only takes one big play. I think he has 3 of them. He scores, goes over 100. Tyler Lockett's a smash.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyone else?
I was just going to say numbers-wise. I'm going to nerd out for a minute. So what I was looking at is early season schedule versus today's matchup. So early on in the season, the Seattle Seahawks had a very tough out-wide schedule. So they've been putting up some okay numbers. They haven't been good. Lockett and Metcalf are both outside the top 24, I believe, in PPR points per game. But they did it against a very tough out-wide schedule. Now this week, Arizona is just the floodgates have opened over the last month. And so based on my numbers, they have the second most improved matchup this week. So if you look at early season versus this week, it's almost 40% higher points per game allowed. So I know it's, but that's why I'm like, and with Metcalf dealing with his injury now, it's like, come on. I mean, if Metcalf's 100%, I would still be on a Lockett. I think it's a smash play.
Yeah, 35 targets over 5 games for Lockett this season so far. And I wrote about Gino in my 5 Things to Know article this week. The Cardinals are giving the defense giving up the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks as well. So 8.
There you go. There's the Tyler Lockett info everybody craves this morning.
The only thing I hate about this is there's a player every single week that our numbers make sense, our analysis makes sense. It is the right decision. I'm very confident in our team and my analysis personally. We pick the right player, and that player just disappears, bombs, and we're smashing each other in the text as soon as kickoff happens.
You mean
so
week 6 Logan Thomas?
A week,
dude,
everything. We've been doing this. Hey, we've been doing this for years. I just hope that, no offense to Josh Reynolds, but let's throw him under the bus and not Tyler Lockett. All right. So let's big up Josh Reynolds a little bit more. Let's tone it down on Tyler Lockett so we can all have that nice game for the Seattle Football Sonics. Okay, let's get into Jets fan again from Winnipeg. Appreciate you coming in down here to the States. PPR Superflex League. Oh, did I miss that? Sorry. Start Gardner Minshew or Josh Palmer in Superflex. Look at this. A quarterback or Josh Palmer in the Superflex. Gotta love this one here. Matt, go ahead.
Yes, Josh Palmer. I'm not playing Minshew against the Cleveland Browns if I have a choice. And again, I'm telling you, Bob, it's Josh Palmer season all in week 7. If he does it, this is when Josh Palmer goes bananas. So they're going to have to throw all day. Even if Eckler has, the Alvin Kamara, shout out to AK
41.
41 with his just a target hound. I think Eckler's going to have a similar game to Kamara, but I think Josh Palmer's going to have a huge game. And I don't have a problem sitting Minshew against Cleveland D.
Yeah, so come back to me, and I'll tell you why when you come back to me. Bobby, you go ahead.
Superflex. I'm going to go Minshew still.
I absolutely do not like what I'm about to say, but in a Superflex, you almost have to go with the quarterback. Unless he has a week like, look, last week he got sacked, 3 turnovers. He was dreadful. Threw a touchdown late, had a little bit of rushing, came out at 15-something fantasy points. Josh Palmer needs to have a really quality game, which I hope that he has. And I'm with Matt, of course. I'm a pseudo Chargers fan, but in a Superflex format, it's really hard unless you have a stud to get there. So last week, Minshew still had 13 fantasy points with 4 turnovers. So I like this. It's at home, so I'm going to give that to him. So I'm going to go with Gardner Minshew.
I have this very question in my Superflex. I have Gardner Minshew as my second quarterback, so he's my Superflex quarterback. And my other options are Judy, Pitts, and Henderson. So you guys have made me feel more comfortable sticking with the quarterback here.
Nice.
I don't know that I'm playing Judy the rest of the year.
Matt, quick question before we move on. Jerry Jeudy, rest of season, or Detlef Schrempf?
Detlef Schrempf, number 11, all day. Played at University of Washington with Christian Velp.
Count it.
Both of them
Daniel,
went to Centralia High School.
Count it again. Daniel, even more here. We got Jordan Love versus the Denver Broncos and Matt Stafford versus the Steelers off a bye. Derek,
Stafford.
We'll start with you. Oh, Matt. Okay. Stafford. Derek?
My bad, Stafford.
Yeah, I will too. Obviously you want to go against that Denver defense, but Stafford's got the weapons. I think his ceiling is higher, so I'll go Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford.
Bob, pop quiz. How many games this year has Matt Stafford thrown at least 2 touchdowns?
0.
Matt, 3. Derek?
Yeah.
2.
At least 2 touchdowns. One single game. It was 2 weeks ago against the Philadelphia Eagles. He threw none against Seattle week 1. He threw 1 single touchdown in 4 of the other 5 weeks. Pittsburgh is not good on paper, but we think of them that way because of the offense. It's still Mike Tomlin. It's still a pass rush. Still a great DST there. So I'm going to go Stafford because I like his options, but temper expectations a little bit going up against the
All right.
Steelers.
Second part of that pop quiz. How many games is he going over 300 yards?
I'm cheating. I'm looking right at it.
5.
3.
Nice.
Yeah. So we just haven't seen the book. Now look, this is week 3 of Cooper Kupp. This is
Exactly.
we got Puka back in the mix. Darrell Henderson is obviously the best running back they've had since Todd Gurley in Los Angeles. So I think we're going to be back full swing in this offense. But we just temper expectations. But I think we're all going to go with Stafford there. Okay, Murph 22. It's been a while for you as well. Welcome back. All right, have a good one here. Has CMC was able to pick up both Mitchell and Mason. I don't have a kicker. Who should I drop? Okay, so this is more long-term. I like this kind of question. So we need to think outside the box here, boys. We're starting CMC Monday night. He's playing. You start him. So this is not do we start Mason or Mitchell. This is who do we hold on to as the primary handcuff for CMC moving forward. Because if anything happens to him on Monday night, that guy you drop is 100% getting picked up in waivers, and you might miss out there. So let's go with it. Matt, I'll go to you first. Who are you more comfortable dropping, Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell?
Well, caveat anything I say from here on out about this situation by saying Kyle Shanahan hates your fantasy football team. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yep.
That's a fact. Right now, the better 2023 running back for the 49ers is Mason. Historically, the better running back in San Francisco is Eli Mitchell. I think that Kyle Shanahan prefers Mitchell over Mason. So
Correct.
I will take my opinion out and add that I think Shanahan's opinion is Mitchell making Mason the drop.
Well, a couple things here. So I interpret this question to be if we get to Monday night and he doesn't have a kicker and he needs a kicker, which one of the two is he dropping to pick up a kicker? Or maybe does he drop now to pick up a kicker for tomorrow, assuming CMC plays. So what we saw last week actually was Mason outplayed Mitchell when CMC got hurt.
By a lot.
Does that carry forward or not? I mean, personally, I think Mitchell is more of a, first, second down back, where Mason is more of a switchblade play. So this one's tough. I mean, because we don't know what Shanahan's going to do. I mean, by all indication, Mitchell is healthy. So do we expect him to get the bulk if CMC is out by chance? I kind of think we do. So I would say Mason is probably the drop, but I'm closing my eyes when I'm pushing that button, no matter what.
Same. Yeah, I'm going to drop Mason. But I would say this. If Jake Moody's available, you could just wait. If Jake Moody's on waivers and you don't need a kicker at this moment, just wait it out. You might win the game by Monday night, and then you could hold both and see how it actually shakes out. So I would actually wait till the last possible second. Sunday Night Football, you have Jason Saunders and Jake Elliott. So if you have one of those 3 kickers, I'm not really trying to start the Minnesota kicker if I can avoid that. But if you have to start one, if you need 3 points, I'm sure he'll get it. But I would wait till the very last possible second, see how it goes. If you can drop – because they haven't played yet. So I would wait until Monday if Jake Moody's available. But then I would drop Mason if I had to drop one of the 2.
Mason is the drop. Elijah Mitchell is loved by many, including Kyle Shanahan. So I agree you should keep Elijah Mitchell.
And Bob, who's your kicker start of the week? The one that you sent me? Go.
Dustin Hopkins, baby.
There it is.
Dustin Hopkins, Brett Maher, Jason Myers, and if you want a sleeper kicker, it's Joey Sly.
Bob, quick question. How many 2 kicker leagues are you in?
Actually, we created multiple super flexes. Now it's super duper flex, superhero flex spot with kickers are allowed in it. So it's a double superhero flex spot, and that's why I have 3 kickers starting every week.
Bonus scoring. So we're talking 15 for a 50-yarder, 14 for a 40-yarder. I love it. All right, we got a couple more
Justin
questions
Tucker
here.
goes 1.03 in the draft.
I love it. Well, behind only Maher and Saunders. So it's I love it. All right, we got a couple more questions, guys. We're going to get out of here. We got about 10, 15 minutes to kick off. We got to get our lineups ready. For anybody that hasn't done it already, please make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're here with you all week. And we have started doing something super fun on Tuesday evenings. We're going to continue until the people tell us they hate it, which they don't. We're going to go with a quad box part 2 on Tuesdays. So come back, catch the 4 of us once again on Tuesdays. We'll be breaking down all of the week's takeaways, player takeaways, game takeaways, Matt's waiver wire preview and review of his article, plus a preview of my trade targets Tuesday evening. Come back and catch all of us at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, that regenerates on YouTube, and you can find on the podcast, Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast, and you can find everything Razzball at Razzball Fantasy NFL. All right, a couple more questions here. We got Zion, start 1, McLaurin, Jacoby Myers, Pittman, PPR. Matt?
Jacoby Myers, it's not even close.
Yeah, same for me. We haven't really talked much about Pittman today, but we have the other two, and Myers still stands out for me in a PPR.
Agreed.
Bubba?
Same.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Myers as well. Matt, quick question. What is Mike Jones' phone number?
281-330-8004.
I think it's 004.
It's a foe. Yeah,
Because you have to rhyme it like it's okay. Anyway, we'll try that again. Official Salvage is back. As a Lions fan, I love how you have to caveat just in case. As a Lions fan, I take offense to calling Reynolds a turd. Matt, do you want to come back to that?
So I would like to officially invite official Salvage to a season in which he can root for his team, and I am done.
Oh wow, that's an NFC North burn. That's a deep cut. We're gonna come back to that later on. Salvage, we hope that you continue to watch our program. Thank you so much for your participation. Daniel is back for another one before we get out of here. Would you rather have J-Mo Williams or Josh Reynolds on your bench, half PPR? 2 Lions. Which one do we want half PPR? Let's go rapid fire to get out of here, Matt.
J-Mo.
Derek?
Yeah, the half PPR makes it a little more interesting, but I'm sticking with JMO.
I think the key word is bench. So if I'm stashing somebody for upside, it's going to be JMO.
Same. He only 3-4 targets a week, but catching 30 or running routes on 33% of his getting a target on 33% of his routes. So if he's out there, he's running a route, he's getting a target. I love that as well. Richard Henderson is in. Good morning. Full PPR, need a flex. Amari Cooper or Sam Laporta, and need a quarterback. Love or Watson, Matt?
Laporta and Jordan Love this week.
Cooper and Love.
No, I meant. Did I say Laporta? Look at that. It's happening. It's innate now. It's in my DNA. I meant Cooper and Love.
Cooper and Love for me.
Cooper and Watson for me.
Let's go Cooper and Love. Love this. Official Salvage. We live in the now, which is a stab back, meaning that the Lions are better than the Packer. This is getting dirty, folks. This is we might have to end it on this one. I'm gonna give a last call. Feel free to tip your bartenders, everybody. Come back in. If you have one more question, I'm gonna give you 2.5 minutes before we sign off so we can get our rosters going. Gentlemen, asking for a friend. Just think of one of your friends that you really care about and you want them to do well in fantasy football. Would you suggest in a PPR league that they go to the depths and start Jalen Reed against a horrendous Denver defense as their third receiver, or flex in Devonta Foreman? Matt, we'll go with you first.
So it's Jaden Reed.
Jaden, you're right. My bad. Correct.
I think Christian Watson is going to be a bust today.
Whoa.
Because he's going to line up against Surtain all day. I like Matt LaFleur to be kind of a dunce head coach and offensive coordinator, play caller. He's going to put a couple of those special freaky deaky plays in for Jaden Reed. I like Reed. However, I'm starting the volume play in Devonta Foreman against the Raiders.
Yeah, before I get to mine, I just want to say Savage now is my favorite viewer. In fact, he could be my. I'll sign him to be my burner
Let's go!
If you want.
Nice. Salajay, that is quite the.
That's right. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Come back every week. I need that. I need someone in my corner.
Oh man, Salajay just got
was-
promoted, dude. That's big time. He leaves. He's not even around for a month at least. Comes in hot. Boom, jumps the ranks. Well done. That's a veteran.
Forget about the burner. It's like your alter ego, right? You're so calm, demeanored, but then like your alter ego's official Savage. Like it's perfect, like your Bizarro character.
You know, didn't Mama always tell you be careful of those quiet ones because you never
Yeah.
know.
Oh, hey.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous now. I told you how nice you look today.
Yeah, that's right. So, and
I
for your
love
friend Sky, I'm going Foreman as well for the volume.
Okay, well, your friend
Number
is
2 run game matchup in our analysis this week is Chicago against the Raiders. You're gonna want to play Devonta Foreman. They're gonna lean on the run today.
all right. Well, your friend just made the move. Okay, Daniel's back for a last minute here. We got a PPR start 2. We got Evans or DK or Pickens. We've talked about Evans quite a bit. We've rolled DK into the Lockett talks. Haven't really talked about the Steelers. Deontay Johnson coming back. Pickens, though, has been at number 1 for the last month. Let's make it quick. Matt, go ahead.
DK and Pickens.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are the 2 late games. Evans is early, so you're going to have to make a commitment right away. I think I've got to play Evans, and then who we talked about DK and Pickens earlier. I went with Pickens. I think you guys went with DK, but so Evans and one of the 2 late receivers.
I agree with Matt.
Yeah, Bob, do we have a up-to-date? We don't really have it yet, huh? DK's still questionable, right? They're not going to announce that till later.
No, it's a game time decision.
Yeah. Remains a game time decision as of 4 minutes ago. Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm going to make sure that I get one of them. So I'm going to go Evans, actually, just in case DK misses or something. I don't want to be stuck later. And then you have to drop a guy or like move to IR. It's going to be weird. So I'm going to go Evans. And then I prefer DK, but if he misses, I'm okay with Pickens there. All right, gentlemen, that is a wrap. Bob, I'm going to let you run us out here in just a second, but I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us this morning once again. And a quick reminder, we're going to be doing this all over again, recapping all of our analysis today and all of the games Sunday and Monday. We'll be back with you on Tuesday evening. Come right back here to the YouTube channel and check us out on 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern. We ran about an hour and a half last week. We're happy to do that. But if you have questions and you know you're coming in hot with waiver asks and trade questions, then please make sure to tune in early. Or what you can do is you can actually go into the chat ahead of the show and you could type in your question. It'll save, and then you can come back, and then we can at least log those in and get those up front. So A, you don't have to wait an hour and a half for your question, but B, it'll help us kind of keep the show rolling. We got steamrolled at the end of the show last week, which is fun, but it does take a lot of time at the end. So we want to make sure we're okay. Matt, final comments?
Okay, so you got to do your lineup. Shame on you, right, Bob? You're the boss. I just want you to hear this. I'm putting this out in the ether. Sky should allow all of us to have our start sit questions if he gets his. Now,
What do you mean?
understand
I was asking for a friend.
Well, I was
friend.
just gonna let you guys know that we did run polls today, so I have the polls that are run, which I want to close the show with anyway. So the tight end start question that came from Matt, Logan Thomas, Luke Musgrave, half PPR. Luke Musgrave won 50% to 37.5%. So just edge out Luke Musgrave over Logan Thomas. We also had start 2 wide receivers, Rashid Rice, Zay Flowers, and George Pickens. I do not kid you. It was a tie. So I gave everybody
Whoa.
Rashid Rice and Zay Flowers, Rashid Rice and George Pickens, Zay Flowers and George Pickens. It is a tie. All 3 had the same exact percentage. That is wild. I've never seen that before. All right, start 2. Running backs, Javonte Williams, Warren, Foreman, and Stevenson. Stevenson and Foreman won that one. So sitting Javonte this week, according to the people. And then we had a quarterback start, Hal Stafford, Love, and Russell Wilson. Matthew Stafford won with 44% of the vote there. And then the last one I put in another tie. Josh Palmer, Waddell Robinson tied. They actually out-nudged DJ Moore in half PPR. Start 1 wide receiver. Josh Palmer and Waddell tied in that one. Any other questions, Matt, did you have?
We need one flex. Is it Rashee Rice, Ramondre, or Javante?
Full or half?
Full. Or Dante Foreman. Okay, so play one, full PPR. Rashee Rice, Ramondre Stevenson, Javante Williams, Dante Foreman. And you have to win this week.
Yikes. I want to stick with my boy Ramondre. I just don't want him to get skunked. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick with Ramondre. And I'm sorry ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm going to go Foreman.
Oh, that doesn't help. Thanks, guys.
And Derek is the half owner of that team, so he doesn't have a vote.
I know. I know he doesn't, so we didn't help you at all. I appreciate you. Maybe we should figure this out where we could poll the audience on our questions. I know we do that on Twitter, so go follow us on Twitter, Razzball Fantasy NFL. But when we have these pop quizzes at the very end, we should throw up a quick quiz and we can dish them out. So I appreciate that. Bob, we are up against it. Let's go around the horn here. Quick final thoughts before Bob closes us out. Matt, go first.
Bad news. I have a business dinner on Tuesday, so our quad box is going to be a triple box. I apologize. I just got the note while we were on the show, so we are being signed up for mandatory fun Tuesday evening. I will do my best to sign in, but the timing is probably not going to work out.
But can we make sure that your article is ready to go so that we can at least review that? That'll be ready, right?
Article will be done and should be up by the time you guys are on the air on Tuesday. And so I can touch base with you before the show starts.
My man. Derek, final thoughts?
Yeah, look for Geno Smith to reassert himself into the top echelon of the quarterback rankings this week. And we didn't talk about him a lot, but I like Josh Jacobs too today. I say that. It takes me.
Cool.
It takes me a lot to say that, but I'm putting it on tape so we can come back and review it and see if it's right.
When you say I like Josh Jacobs, does that mean 17 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown, or does that mean like 25 fantasy points?
I like the 2022 version of Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, so do I. But he has left the building, Derek. Yeah. He moved.
I think we're going to see closer to that than 23 today. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's like your middle school friend that you're excited to hang out with in high school, but they moved before high school, and then it's just pre-social media, so you don't have contact with that person anymore. That's Josh Jacobs from this year to last year.
Yeah, it's
Bob,
ugly.
Final thoughts? You can run us out. Best of luck, everybody.
Yeah, no, I got no final thoughts. Just enjoy your Kenneth Walker stakes today and that Seahawks passing offense. Let's hope they get it together. Overall, though, make sure you follow us cross-board at Razzball Fantasy on YouTube, IG, and TikTok. And I want to thank all my co-hosts today, Derek Favret, Matthew Stiles, Sky Gawasco, handles on the screen, at Bobby Lamarco as well. Make sure you subscribe to the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. Jump over to football.razzball.com for all our great content. And, of course, join us on TikTok and IG. We have everything you need to help answer all your starts and questions. We are
Aaron Jones, Bryce.